Good morning. Welcome to the weekly multi-platform service of Tri-County Unitarian Universalists based in Summerfield, Florida. We acknowledge that we occupy the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the indigenous Florida peoples. I'm Tim McCusker, today's service leader. Hello to our members and friends, and a special welcome to those who might be visiting here for the first time. Unitarian Universalists are united not by a creed of shared beliefs, but by a covenant of shared values. We celebrate that we do not need to think alike to love alike. It is our respect and encouragement of each other's diversity of thought that truly binds us together. For the curious and the seekers, Unitarian Universalist values and covenant may be found on your order of service and at our website, triuu.org. Our newsletter, included in the timetable, can also be found there under News and Events. We have announcements, but first it's time for a silly haiku. Is your phone ringing? Please make sure you turn it off immediately. And even if your phone is not ringing, could you put your phone on stun so that increases our bandwidth? Thank you. After a few months' break, we're resuming our monthly forums this Thursday, September 11th, beginning at 4 p.m. here at Tri-UU. This month, Susan Elwell, seated in the back of the room, a solar energy specialist, outlines money-saving steps involved in building a solar energy system and the multiple ways that businesses, nonprofits, and homeowners may benefit. It's a timely message. For Tri-UU has signed up to install our own solar energy system starting tomorrow. After the forum, we'll be having a potluck hosted by the Buildings and Grounds team. Please bring a dish to share. A sign-up sheet for the potluck is at the back of the room. If you have any questions, speak with Andrea Coburn or Aaron Woodsum. A celebration of the life of Jerry Slosser is next Saturday, September 13th, here at Tri-UU at 11 a.m. Those who are unable to be here in person will be able to participate via Zoom. See our website, timetable, or this month's newsletter for the Zoom link. UU and U events are monthly gatherings that provide opportunities to socialize with others in an informal setting beyond the walls of our building. You are invited to participate on Friday, September 26th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the home of Eileen McCabe and Tom Murphy. There is more information and a sign-up sheet on the table behind the AV station. Contact Eileen McCabe or Andrea Coburn if you have questions. This concludes our announcements, and as we begin the service proper, we will recite our mission statement. Please join with your voice as we recite together. We unite in religious community to seek spiritual growth, live with integrity, and serve with compassion. Our chalice keeper today is Nancy Garrison. We invite those of you joining us on Zoom to light your chalice at home.
As a symbol of our free faith, we light our chalice to bring us into community through the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the noble struggle for equal rights. You will make a better person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in.
Do we have any smokers here? No wonder. Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home. On my sail and moon my rudder, as I fly the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in the beautiful blue I give thanks to the waves of holding me, hail the great wind urging me on, read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home.
Opening words this morning are invitation to join the journey from Lynn Cox. Come, you accidental pilgrims, you who find yourself on a journey of surprise and wonder. Come, you who emerge into this place as an act of liberation. Come, you who seek a life of mindfulness and a place to test your thoughts. Come, you who bring hearts of all kinds, heavy hearts, rusty hearts, hearts broken open in revelation, hearts full of love to share. Come, you who seek courage and you who have more courage than you realize. Come, you who sit at the back or stand in the shadows, gathering up resources to claim your truth. Come, you who have been in a bubble, you who are poised for transformation. We begin our story again, gathering courage, love, mindfulness, and a sense of purpose. We gather as a people of all ages, well, some ages, of different abilities, different backgrounds, and different perspectives. We share a covenant, a direction for our shared journey, and a commitment to encourage and challenge one another to spiritual growth. This path will ask much from us. Let us move forward with love. Let us move forward with appreciation for one another. Let us move forward knowing we are not alone. Whoever you are, whatever your gifts, you are welcome on this journey. Come, let us worship together. If you would please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our opening hymn, One More Step. Our story today is a map for Palestine, a Palestinian child's search for home, written by Mesa O'Day and illustrated by Aliyah Batawi. One morning, Palestine's teacher showed her class a map of the world. Can each of you tell us where your family is from? She asked. The children gathered in a circle and began sharing their stories with pride. But when it was her turn, Palestine searched the map and found nothing. Miss Baker, why isn't Palestine on the map? Miss Baker looked at the map. I think there's no such place, Miss Baker said. Palestine was troubled, confused, and curious. She needed to ask more questions. When she got home, Palestine's grandpa was tending his grapevines. When he saw her, he beamed like he was seeing the sunrise for the first time, the way he always did. How was your day, Habibti? He asked. As she watered the flowers, Palestine told her grandpa what had happened with her teacher. Gido, why isn't Palestine on the map? Gido looked into her eyes with concern. Then he took out his notepad from his pocket and he began to draw. First, an outline of what seemed to be an ancient tooth, like the fossils in Palestine's favorite book. Then ocean waves to the west, lines and borders to the east. With a steady hand, he drew little circles and gave life to cities and villages with names she had not heard before. He labeled one of those cities Huwara, our home. When he was finished, he tore the paper out, folded it carefully, and gave it to Palestine. "Here is your map, Omri," he said, "a gift from me to you. Your teacher needs teaching. You can show this to her so all of your friends can learn too." When Palestine went inside, her grandma was making her favorite treat, spinach pies. She washed her hands so she could help. As she filled the delicate parcels of dough with a special blend of spinach, walnuts, sumac, and spicy red flakes, Palestine asked, "Teta, why isn't Palestine on the map?" Teta's eyes looked through Palestine, and she spoke as if she was in another world. "The soldiers came with their guns and tanks. I carried your mother in my arms and ran to the Jordan River to protect our family from harm. They destroyed our villages and gave them new names. They burned the fields and the olive trees. We left our homes and many loved ones behind. But I've held on to our house key." Teta unclasped the necklace she always wore and draped it around Palestine's neck. Palestine reached up to touch it, an iron key, old and precious, and as old and precious as Teta. Palestine was quiet and sad. After Isha prayer, when she was snuggled into bed, Palestine told her mama about her day, about her teacher and the map at school, about the map Jito drew, and about Teta and her key. Finally, she asked one more time, for Mama had an answer to every question. "Mama, why isn't Palestine on the map?" "There are places, Hayati, you don't need a map to find," her mama said. "Our favorite trail, your hideout in Teta's closet, the bird's nest inside our chimney. Sometimes people live in countries. Sometimes countries live in people. Palestine lives in you and me." "How can I be sure it's there when I've never seen it?" "There are things in this world you haven't seen with your own eyes," Mama said. "Your heart in your chest, the air in your lungs. From her olive groves to the sea, our homeland is as real as God above. Palestine lives in you and me." "My teacher said it doesn't exist," Palestine whispered. Mama nodded. "There are people who say it doesn't exist, that we don't exist, but their maps can't erase us," she replied, her voice calm and clear. "Their maps can't erase our memories. Their maps can't erase our past. They think our freedom makes them less free, but it is wrong to deny a people their home. Palestine lives in you and me." Mama got in bed with Palestine and held her close, smiling. She ran her fingers through her beautiful, stubborn curls. "Palestine lives in every Palestinian who cannot return," Mama said. "She is in millions of hearts that beat like dabka drums. She is in the bread Teta bakes on Sunday morning. She is in every cross-stitch of the thwab you wear for Eid. She is in the za'atar we put in our tea. She is in Haifa and Jaffa and Ramlah and Lid. She is in Nasra, Nablus, Jerusalem, and Jenin. She is in Gaza most of all, and her dear laughing children playing soccer by the sparkling sea. She is in the stones we cast and the words we write. She is in our past, our present, and our legacy. She is called many names, but older than all of them still, and all. Palestine lives in you and me." Palestine smiled and closed her heavy eyes. She thought about showing her map and her key to her class in the morning, and she felt proud. "Do you think we can go visit her sometime and meet our family?" she asked. "We will, Rohi, I promise. They're all waiting for us." Now, as we move deeper into our service, let us turn inward to consider transitions, the joys, sorrows, and concerns that we all experience in our life's journeys. There are 3 bowls of stones of different colors representing the gratitude of joy, the grief of sorrow, and whatever feeling you're having related to concerns. After those present have placed stones in the water, our ushers will place stones from each of the bowls into the water on behalf of those who are not present in the church and those who have chosen not to or who are unable to come forward. Those online are invited to type into the chat to express what is in your heart. When all the stones have been mingled in the water, we will take a moment for silent meditation or prayer. You may now come forward. Let us take a moment to reflect on our own joys, concerns, and sorrows, and those of others in this beloved community. As the sound of chimes will bring us back into this space in a moment, we will sing our response, "Find a Stillness."
We feel abundantly grateful to the Buildings and Grounds team who work to ensure that both our indoor and outdoor spaces are clean, safe, and comfortable. There are numerous tasks that need to be completed weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually to ensure that this building is fit to be used and is in compliance. Several of our members, Susan Elwell, Kim Hummel, and Bruce Twist, have been instrumental in helping Tri-UU to go solar, and installation of the solar panels begins tomorrow, as I mentioned. The Buildings and Grounds team is comprised of not only those members who attend to the physical, mechanical, and regulatory needs of the building, but also includes the green team, garden keepers, safety team, and interior space team. Will all the members of the teams please stand? Any one of these folks and the others who I have not named, but who are in fact on the team, and as you can see in your handout, which is in the order of service, I'm volunteering them, will be happy to answer any questions you may have during the coffee hour. We will now receive your offering. If you are visiting us for the first time, please do not feel obligated to give. You are our guest, and we are happy to have you here with us today. This is the time in our service when those who wish to make some monetary contribution to our congregation's vision and mission give to support this community and its outreach. If you are putting cash in the basket that you want credited to your pledge, please put the cash in a brown envelope with your name on the front. Envelopes are available on the table at the back of the sanctuary. I invite the ushers to come forward. They've already started. Thank you very much.
A reading before the sermon, and I apologize, my Arabic is not very good. This is Gate A4 from Naomi Shihab Nye. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal after learning my flight had been delayed for 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing. "Help," said the flight agent. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be late and she did this." I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke haltingly. "Shudawa, shubeduk habibti, stani shwe, min fadik, shubit siwe." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for a major medical treatment the next day. "No, we're fine. You'll get there just later. Who is picking you up? Let's call him." We called her son. I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and ride next to her. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out that, of course, they had 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling of her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She pulled a sack of homemade mamul cookies, little powdered sugar crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, from her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered in the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free apple juice from huge coolers, and 2 little girls from our flight ran around serving it, and they were covered in powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend, by now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. Such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant, always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary travelers, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person at that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. I come from very white people, mostly German and Scot, so Protestant. But I was raised in a multicultural, multi-ethnic area. While kids on the street that I spent my early years went to vacation Bible school, by the time I was in middle school and high school, the classmates I spent the most time with were attending Hebrew school. Probably about a third of my classmates in those grades were Jewish. I grew up in the next suburb over from the city with one of the highest percentages of Jewish people outside Israel, a little over 90%. There were enough Jewish kids in my school system that they had conversations every year about whether to close schools for the high absenteeism that would come at the high holy days every year. The east side of Cleveland was a landing place for many Jews during and after World War II, and again with the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 90s. In high school, there were also more Russian and Russian-speaking people. Every year, Jews honor the High Holy Days, Passover, and other holidays, which I preach on every year, remembering their ancestors by reenacting the events of the past. They remember having once been honored guests in Egypt who became the lowest of slaves. They remember the brutality of the labor required, and they remember fleeing in the Exodus. The Holocaust, pogroms across Eastern Europe, and anti-Semitism all across Europe made those events ever more present for so many. Never again. The state of Israel was formed in response to the genocide and mass displacement from World War II. It became a place where Jews would always know they would belong, in their bones and on their bare forearms. Next year in Jerusalem. Since October 7th, 2023, with the Hamas attack on Israel that resulted in not only hundreds of casualties, but also hostages, and under this administration, I know Jews have been figuring out how they would leave and escape, assessing who would hide them when the time came, have been making plans for when the risks outweigh keeping put. Given history in that region and across Europe, this is a reasonable response. It is how Jews have kept safe for these generations. Back to me for a moment. I loved studying people, still do, throughout my life. Religions, cultures, practices, and of course, languages and histories. I've studied French and Russian and the people's histories and cultures that go along with them, including how nation states and national identities have been formed and constructed, and colonization by both. My interest in languages led me to be in relationship with a variety of people. When I returned from my study abroad in Russia, I wanted to have Russian roommates and was connected with two women who were also in the translation program I was in. The second year, we added another young woman from Uzbekistan who was Muslim. She and I lived together for 2 years. My roommates were very resourceful, but we shared a lot. I would drive Z to the shop in a nearby town to buy halal meat when she wanted it, as well as other ingredients to make meals reminiscent of her home. She kept her prayer schedule and kept fast during Ramadan. She made friends that she would go to the mosque with, and we would occasionally attend public events at the mosque together. It didn't really occur to me at the time, but living with a Muslim woman who had black hair and skin a darker shade than mine was probably quite countercultural, living in a post-9/11 world. I just thought she was great, and she was my friend. So I come to what is happening in Gaza and the West Bank from that particular place. I understand the Holocaust and the horrors of World War II, as well as great anti-Semitism that has happened in France and other European countries in particular depth. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I'm just a person with a tender heart and the sensibility to vaguely follow the news. I understand the need and significance of Israel, and I also understand that a unilateral decision to make a country and put it in a place that has been populated by other peoples for generations is basically the definition of how colonization works. I trust that the indigenous peoples of this land we are now on would agree. Israel was a gift to the Jews, but not one without very big challenges. For starters, the forced displacement of people who live there. Following the horrors and trauma of World War II and the foundation of the Israeli state, Jews have taken on the role of the oppressors in this situation, forgetting that they are not the only ones who can claim rights to that land or to safety. What is happening there in Israel, Gaza, the occupied West Bank, all of it, is a consequence of that decision, the creation of the state of Israel on the land it currently occupies. A decision not made by the people who live there, but by foreign powers on behalf of others. Also, in part as a way of not having to deal with their own anti-Semitism, while also leaning into their Islamophobia, which Israel as a state continues to practice. I don't question the need among Jews for there to be a Jewish state, but I do question the Israeli government for the way they handle being leaders of that state, just as I question American leaders about how they handle our nation's affairs. I criticize their strategies and denounce what is happening in Palestine. What we are witnessing there is genocide. Created and forced malnutrition, starvation, and famine, mass murder, death of thousands of children and youth, women and elderly, homes demolished, hospitals destroyed, state-sanctioned terrorism, transportation to the world beyond cut off, aid available but unable to cross the border. It is a siege. The Palestinian people have been under siege in Gaza for almost 2 years. My study abroad in Russia was in Volgograd. It was Stalingrad during World War II. Monuments to the war are everywhere. I know what a siege looks like 3 generations out. It is devastating. Writing almost 2 years ago in November of 2023, the Reverend Peggy Clark of Community Church in New York wrote this: Amnesty International has declared Israel's treatment of the Palestinians to be an oppressive and discriminatory system of government committing the crime of apartheid. There are arbitrary restrictions on freedom of movement, including 175 permanent checkpoints in the West Bank designed to disrupt everyday life, checkpoints that have been the direct cause of human death when people can't get through in time to seek medical care. Israelis also engage deliberate acts of collective punishment, administrative detentions, random acts of violence, denial of the right to work, and if that isn't bad enough, they also withhold water, force evictions of entire neighborhoods, and according to the UN, there are many meaningful accusations of torture of Palestinian citizens. In October of 2022, Israel started denying married couples in the West Bank with passports from different countries the right to live together, an act meant to destabilize families. Israeli forces have demolished entire villages, creating a constant sense of impermanence, ensuring no one ever feels safe, guaranteeing intentionally that people are not secure and will not thrive. For instance, in August of 2022, Israel launched an offensive on the Gaza Strip that destroyed 1,700 Palestinian homes, displacing all those people. None of this is even new. It's been going on since 1948, when the State of Israel was created. Back in 2018, the Norwegian Refugee Council referred to Gaza as the world's largest open-air prison. The war we're seeing in Gaza, especially, and the West Bank as well now, has long ago moved away from being an attempt to defend against or neutralize Hamas. Did you know? I learned this week. Hamas is considered a terrorist organization, the story that we Americans are told only by the US, Israel, Australia, Canada, Paraguay, Japan, New Zealand, the UK, and the European Union, so mostly white people who look like me. 2 motions in the last 7 years have gone before the United Nations that have failed to condemn Hamas. Many outside of these countries that I listed consider Hamas a liberation movement for the Palestinian people. If you're thinking, this isn't over their problem, it's more complicated than that. Apart from the economics that make the ongoing war possible, hello, United States. Many Palestinians have been displaced or fled for their lives. We're witnessing people across the US being arrested for protesting what is happening in Gaza at many universities, both students and faculty, some being threatened with deportation. And over there are people like 16-year-old Mohammed Zahir Ibrahim, who went to visit family outside Ramallah in the occupied West Bank in February and was arrested for allegedly throwing rocks at Israeli soldiers, which he and his family adamantly deny. His family's home was raided as part of the arrest. Ibrahim continues to be held without having had a trial since February, which has been repeatedly postponed. His family has expressed deep concern about his health. He has contracted scabies from some mite infection and has reportedly lost more than a quarter of his body weight. Ibrahim is also being held in quarantine due to the scabies, which means that he's been in isolation, raising concerns about his mental health. Ibrahim is a U.S. citizen who was born and lives in Florida. He has had no contact with his family since he was arrested. Ibrahim's cousin, 20-year-old Saifullah Musalat, also an American, was beaten to death by Israeli settlers of the occupied West Bank who were trying to steal his family's land in July. CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, and other orgs are asking that we contact our representatives to advocate for Ibrahim's safe return to the U.S. Next month, for our October forum, don't forget, Susan L. Wells is this week, but in October, Bob Horner will be here with Partners for Palestine and speaking about that org's work here at TriUU. Partners for Palestine is a Florida organization that is working exclusively on Palestinian rights and matters. Now, if the issue of Israel and Palestine hasn't been worked out by people who are smarter than me and have more clout than I do, I'm not going to act like I know what the answer to this is. But what I do know is that this is an outrage. We cannot turn away from the pain and horror of what is happening in Gaza to the Palestinian people. To do so would be no better than turning away during World War II to what was happening to Jews and other marginalized people. Never again means never again. I also know that everyone in this situation is suffering deeply. Probably everyone is right about their opinion and wrong too. Parents on both sides have lost children in terrible ways, and children have watched their parents be killed in terrible ways on both sides. No one is winning. The violence is happening to everyone. How could that be the answer? And with the levels of malnutrition and famine that we're witnessing, I don't know how many of those children will even be able to recover. How is ensuring the death of children a solution? More violence will solve and help nothing. As Lisa Loeb, a Jewish civil rights attorney and much more, said in the 2023 Side with Love gathering, Why We Cannot Turn Away, when we do violence to one another, we do violence against the fabric of life itself. All I know for sure is that it doesn't have to be this way, and we must call for an end to the violence and for justice for the Palestinian people. I don't know what is the right answer, but I do know what we're seeing now is definitely the wrong answer. The fear and anger and hurt so many people are holding in that area and across the world at this time is unimaginable, and yet people are having to live through it. My heart breaks for them all. An immediate ceasefire is long overdue. Allowing medical care to reach those in need is long overdue. Allowing food and water to reach those in need is long overdue. These should not be controversial statements. Literally everyone in the world deserves these things. They are basics for being an alive person. To deny any and all of these is itself an act of violence. My instinct here is to center the Palestinian people because they are the most marginalized at this time. But I do so with the understanding that there is no escape from this pain and horror without everyone being able to move forward together. There is no peace without justice, and no justice without peace. If Israel wasn't doing what they have been accused of, they wouldn't be keeping journalists out. What is happening is deeply wrong. Nowhere in the world is it okay to kill civilians, to starve an entire population. As Unitarian Universalists who say we value justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all of that centered on a liberating love, we ask, where is that love? The love that calls us forward, holds us in all hardships. It is present for everyone, but it is not being brought to the table for resolution. It is not being invoked as missiles are launched. It is not in love's name that hospitals and homes are raised. Love isn't meant only for the scraps of life that war makes of us. Love isn't meant for the dead and dying. Love isn't meant only for those that are starving and the seemingly infinite ways that we manage to dehumanize each other in anticipation of destroying lives. Love isn't meant just to witness. Love is meant to set us all free. Love calls us to work for justice in this world, knowing that it will not make itself. Love asks us to want better for ourselves and our neighbors. Love doesn't ask either or, but always both and. Love sets tables for peace and refuses to back down or invite war in. Love feeds the hungry and makes sure that we all have clean water to drink, to share our stories and our cookies. Love tells us that we must act justly, love mercy, and travel humbly with it. Love calls us to be more and better and kinder and more present, more generous, more welcoming, more open to a world of possibilities. Love is meant to set us all free. May it save us from ourselves. If you need a moment, think about the hymn, "When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love." Just take a few deep breaths. If you would please rise and join me for our closing hymn. Wake now my senses.
Nancy Garrison will now read our chalice extinguishing message.
We live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, not my community, not my world, not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider those people my heroes. These are the words of Fred Rogers.
I invite anyone who has begun to visit us, with us, and who wishes to do so to introduce themselves. Please raise your hand and an usher will bring a microphone to you. Please keep the microphone close to your mouth so we can hear you better. If you would like to receive, we'll get that later.
Hello, everybody. My name.
Got it.
Oh, hello, everyone. My name is Phil Bro, and this is my son Trevor. We're moving to your community, and I'm a longtime Unitarian, but I would say a fallen Unitarian, having lived in Latin America for many years, where we're somewhat of a Unitarian desert. We are looking for a home this week in this area, and we'll be moving here when our home in Deerfield Beach is sold. Trevor will be attending ARC in Ocala, and well, we look forward. Thank you.
Well, good luck.
Good morning. My name is Bob Horner. My name was mentioned earlier. I'm from Orlando. I attend the Methodist Church in Orlando. And Cindy invited me here because I know this special sermon that was given today was just spot on. I don't think you need me to come do a presentation because Cindy does just a marvelous job on this. But I welcome everybody to hear about the work that I'm doing and Larry's doing and Cindy's doing and others are doing for the Palestinian cause that's so unjust, so terrible, so tragic that every one of us needs to know what's going on over there. And I would love to be able to share my message with everybody here. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Larry Gilbert, and I'm a member of Partners for Palestine since its founding. And it's a work that I think one of the things that the pastor mentioned was how the news media, how they try to keep the news media out of there to report what's going on and killing reporters. So, we had a Holocaust that took place, and the silence was deafening during that time, I'm told. I was born in 1945, so I was told, and I kind of see that happening now. And I'm a Roman Catholic, and I talked to my priest about it. And my church during World War II was very silent during that period. So we need to raise our voices. We need to contact our elected representatives and have them do what is right and what our Maker would want of us. Thank you.
Here's the bad news. In order for Reverend Kristina to get to our sister congregation, we cannot have comments on this marvelous sermon today.
I can take some. We can take
Yeah?
some short ones. Yeah.
Okay, great. If you have a comment about the sermon, please raise your hand and an usher will bring a microphone to you.
Hi, my name is Ken. I know the Reverend Kristina intimately, but what I don't know is I don't often get to see her deliver sermons. I see her working all week, preparing them, and I have no idea what's going on. But I grew up Catholic, and Sundays were a very relaxing time. You sit kind of in stoic meditation with organ music, and you hear a nice, friendly, joyful sermon. I'm amazed at what a positive splash in the face that sermon was. And I'm amazed that I sat in ignorance, sitting next to or walking by the person who wrote it. And today my brain is spinning having heard it, because I think there is a lot of ignorance about that. And I'm pretty ignorant too. It was really, really good to hear. And I'm glad everyone heard it.
Hi, my name is Cindy Grossman. I just wanted to also say, we sang that the prelude, which we usually don't do for people that aren't always here. We usually just let them play the prelude, but we love Blue Boat Home. And it's very special to us, and many of us know the words, and now we're going to really learn the words. Maybe I'll go and Google them when I get home. But when we were singing that, I was thinking of something very special, because many people ask, why do I have to be so aware of what's going on in Gaza? There's so much terror going on in our country right now. And it's true, there's a lot of terror going on in our country. But I think Blue Boat Home, when I was singing the song, I was thinking of Greta Thunberg. She is an activist for climate. That's her passion. And she was on a boat to try to deliver supplies to Gaza a few weeks ago, and a few days ago left Barcelona on another boat to attempt to do it one more time. At much risk to herself. They would love to capture her in many ways, okay? But she said in an interview that I heard, I have a platform. Yes, climate is important to me. It's essential to me. It's an existential issue. But I have a platform, and I can help make sure that the people of Gaza get the food and resources and medical resources that they need. So that's what I was thinking during Blue Boat Home. Thank you. And thank you for a wonderful sermon.
Thank you. I'll just piggyback on Cindy's comments. There's about 40-some boats on their way to Gaza today, as to break that siege in Gaza. So be praying for them. This sermon, I just want to echo, was just amazing. It was so touching. It's a shame that this message isn't given to more churches, especially in the Christian faith, because I don't know why. I can't explain it. I've never been heard why it is not. But many pastors don't have the courage to be able to say this truth and the reality of what's going on. And I so deeply commend you for making these comments. I wanted to see if I can get a copy of this. I want to send it to my Methodist churches in Orlando. I'd love to have them do it, or you come and give this presentation to them, whatever it takes. But the church needs to be standing up much more vocally than they have in years and years and need to be. So I just applaud you and thank you for your wonderful work. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Bill. I'm a new member here, and I wanted to say I'm so glad to hear today's sermon, and it's sad that it had to be preached. But the whistle stop, the children's story, and the wisdom of the grandfather's words struck me, that a place lives in the person as well as the person living in the place. That if we could get back to that and not have to discuss discuss the awfulness of the realities that we face, that would be a good goal to get to that place.
I know you have to go. I appreciate your taking my comment. When I was 13, I moved to Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn, Michigan became a largely Arab American community. In fact, right now it is over half Arab American. So I grew up and had classmates that were Syrians, Lebanese, and Palestinians, and Yemens. So I never understand why there's so much hatred towards those people. I realized that the thing in October 2 years ago, was horrific. But there's been that horrificness going on for a really long time. When I was 16, I kissed a Palestinian boy. That was before I am what I am now. But in either case, it was very sweet and it was very endearing. And I don't know that I have anything else to say about that.
And I'll end it with, I'm Helene, and for those of you who don't know that I'm of Jewish background, and my father was in the Holocaust. And I just want to say, I was not looking forward to this sermon. I'm just telling you, I told Trish the other day, I said, this one's going to hurt, She said, yeah, I know. And here I am working AV, so I had to be here. But no, besides that, I had to be here. Besides, had to be here. And thank you. And I do take, please, not just to other churches, but also to other faith communities, because I think Jews need to hear this too. It's not just churches and Christians that need to hear this.
I think it's time for the benediction.
It is. These words from my minister, Melissa Carville-Ziemer. We have gathered in dedication to the proposition that beneath all our diversity, there lies a unity that binds us one to the other, to the earth and to the stars. We have gathered in witness. Let us take our witness into the world.
Us for coffee and fellowship in the back of the room until 11 o'clock. If you want a bit more to eat and more time to visit, there's a sign-up sheet on the table near the bookshelves to coordinate with others who would like to go out for brunch. The Zoom room will stay open for 20 minutes.